Last week I hosted a webinar and promised that I would answer all the questions you sent in. There were more than 50 questions and really good ones. A few of them covered similar topics, so I condensed them into 31 questions, which I'm going to answer now. By the way, if you haven't seen the webinar yet, I recommend watching it first. You'll find the link below this video. During the webinar, I also offered a free paperback book as a gift. You can claim your copy using the link below. I also announced a special webinar discount on my trading education and custom-made tools. You can find it on my website, but it is only available until the end of the month. Alright, let's now take a look at the questions. What you see here is the full list of questions divided into sections. I'll answer them one by one, so if you are only interested in certain topics, this should make it easier for you to navigate through the video. Alright, let's get to it. Question number 1. What does volume profile actually show? The question was about what the volume profile actually represents, if it shows the volumes inside each individual candle or if it combines the volume from all candles within the selected range. And I'm going to demonstrate this on this picture here. The volume profile shows the volumes from all the candles that you see here within the profiles range. So this volume profile here shows how the volumes were distributed in all those candles. That's the volume profile. Below it is the standard volume indicator, which shows how big the volumes were inside each candle, right? So inside this candle, there were those volumes traded and so on. All right, so compared to the volume at time, the standard volume indicator, volume profile shows how the volumes are distributed in the whole selected area. Question number 2. What time frame do you use for volume profile and for entries? For volume profile, it is always 30-minute time frame, and for my entries, it's 5-minute time frame. I use the 30-minute time frame on the volume profile so I can see the big picture and identify the big levels, and then the 5-minute time frame on the footprint chart to time the entries. There I need to see the details, so that's why I have it like this. Now, question number 3. How do you choose the volume profile range? The question was, how do you choose the range of the volume profile? How far back should you go, and should you profile the previous day, the current live session, or each individual session? So here's how I do it. What I have is a flexible volume profile that I move around like this, and I use it in areas that I'm interested in. So it's not like a daily profile or a weekly profile or a session profile. I only look into specific areas. It doesn't need to be from yesterday or from the start of the week. It could be, for example, a couple of days back, even a month-old levels, which are untested. That's important, are levels that I want to trade. Like, for example, here. This is a level that formed like 2 weeks ago, but this heavy volume zone still hasn't been tested. See, the price hasn't reached that level yet. So this is a still zone that I want to trade, right? So I'm only looking into specific untested areas within the chart, for example, within a trend or in a place where the price made a strong rejection like here. So yeah, that's why I use the flexible volume profile so I can move it around. By the way, the flexible volume profile, that's my custom-made tool. You can get it on my website. Now, question number 4 is a bit similar to the previous one. Can older volume profile levels be used for day trading? Yes, absolutely. I do like to trade older levels, and even if they are a couple of weeks old, I still trade them. I would say the threshold is around like 1 month. If I were to trade older levels than 1 month, they would need to be very, very strong levels. Like, for example, the weekly point of control or something like that. All right, here's the next question, and it brings us to the next section about order flow. So question is, how do the price chart and order flow chart work together? The way I do this is I look at the volume profile chart first, identify significant heavy volume zones, and then move to the 5-minute footprint chart where I time the entry. And the question continues, and person asked, are the heavy volume price areas in order flow the same as the point of control shown on volume profile tools? Well, not really, because the volume profile shows the point of control where the volumes were the heaviest in the whole selected area. In this case, it's this place, which I highlighted in here. This is the point of control of this specific volume profile. But the footprints, they have the point of control. Every footprint has its own high volume node, or in other words, you can call it point of control as well. See, those are the heavy volume zones in the brackets. So yeah, this is a different thing. High volume node in a volume footprint is a different thing than the point of control from the volume profile. Because simply put, the volume profile shows bigger range, so that's why. The next question is about delta. And the question is, what does delta actually tell you? The delta is difference between aggressive buyers and aggressive sellers. And in each footprint, you can see the delta below the footprint. If the delta is negative, that means that aggressive sellers were dominating in that specific footprint. I covered this a little bit more in the webinar, but if you guys want a specific webinar on delta, you can follow the link below this video. There's a whole webinar about trading the delta, so you can check it out for more info. The next question was, what do the red and green cell colors mean? And it continues also in here, where the person asked, are the colors and the shades of the colors based on relative volume intensity or fixed volume thresholds? Now let me start with the first part of the question. What do the red and green cell colors mean? The red ones mean that sellers were in control. If it's green, then buyers were in control in those specific areas, right? Those were sellers, and here there were buyers. As you can see, sometimes the shades are darker. For example, in this whole area, the shades of the colors are darker. That's because volumes were heavier there. And to answer the second part of the question, it's relative to what you see on the chart. So it's not really any threshold, like, for example, if it was 200 contracts and more traded, then it would show up as a darker shade of a color and tell us that those were heavy volumes traded there. No, it's relative to what you see on the chart. I would say that this is more helpful than setting certain thresholds, because thresholds would be, for every trading instrument different. So it's better to compare to the rest of the footprints and their typical volume. And that's what my software does. Question number 8. Can a trade still fail after order flow confirmation? Yes, it can still fail. I've seen many trades failing after beautiful confirmation. This is trading, you are having an edge and you trade that edge, and that edge gives you a certain probability that you will win, but it doesn't mean that you will win every trade. So yeah, even if a trade gets confirmed by the order flow, if it looks perfect, it can still fail. You as a trader need to be okay with that. Another part of the question is, if so, what does order flow confirmation actually add to the setup? And the order flow adds two things. First, the confirmation, and the second is the timing. The confirmation is useful for you to decide whether to enter a trade or not. For example, if you are not sure about the level, or if the market goes in a spike move, you are not sure whether to take it or whether to skip the trade. You can also use confirmation when you are trading against the trend, when you are not sure if a level gets respected. That's when confirmation comes in handy. Or also, if you are not sure whether a level was already tested properly or no, then you can use the order flow to confirm when the price hits the level, to confirm if you want to enter the trade or skip it. Also, order flow is good for timing your entry. So it not only tells you if to enter a trade, yes or no, but also when exactly. All right, that's also helpful. And yeah, for those two reasons, I like using order flow in addition to my volume profile setups. All right, next question, and we are in a new section, which is about platform, software, and data. What platform and software do you use for order flow? I'm using NinjaTrader 8 platform. I'm using their free version. They also have a paid version, but you don't really need that. The free version has all the features that you need. I'm using my custom-made order flow software, and if you guys want to use it, then it's available on my website, traderdale.com. Next question. Does your order flow software work on TradingView? My indicator is only for NinjaTrader 8 platform. I think it's way superior than TradingView, so that's why. TradingView, they have their own order flow indicators. So if you prefer TradingView platform, then you can use there, but you need to have their subscription. One thing that I'd like to add is that you can use the indicator on one platform, let's say on NinjaTrader 8 platform, if you want to use my order flow, and then execute your trades elsewhere with your broker. So for example, I'm doing my analysis on NinjaTrader 8 with my custom-made indicators, and then I trade with the C Trader, which is trading platform. All right, let's go to the next question, question number 11. What market data is required for order flow? CME data is required. It's available on the NinjaTrader website. Also, you need just level 1 data. Level 2 data is not necessary because level 2 data is the pending orders, but order flow doesn't work with pending orders. It only shows real executed trades, and that's level 1 data. Next question, question 12. Can you use NinjaTrader and order flow on Mac? Unfortunately, no. NinjaTrader 8 is not supported on Macs. What you need is a virtual machine like Parallels. Question number 13. How can we get help setting up NinjaTrader demo account? I made a video where I help you setting up the data connection and how you can get data for just $4 a month. I'll put the link below this video, so check that out. I think that should help. Also, if you are looking for full support setting things up, then if you guys are members of our trading course, then the members get support. That means we install everything for you. That means platform, connect you to data, we set up the indicators, we also give you my workspaces so you can have exactly the thing that I use in my trading and help you with anything else you need. So if you are our member, we do everything for you so you can hit the ground running. Now the next question is from the next part, and it's about markets and instrument. Question is, does it work the same on ES and MES and NQ or MNQ? So the full question goes like this. Are the order flow and volume profile values the same on ES and micro ES or NQ and micro NQ? Can you apply the same strategy to both full size and micro futures contracts? So you can apply the strategy to both. The instruments are almost the same, but you need to keep in mind that there are still different instruments, okay? Volume values, for example, for the ES and the micro ES will be different. They are not the same instrument, okay? What I recommend is watching the volumes on the ES and NQ because it's bigger markets with more volumes. It's the main market. And then if you want, you can execute trades on the micros. All right, but the main market to do your analysis on should be the ES and the NQ. Question number 15. Does this strategy work on other markets? You can apply this strategy on any market you guys want because this is universal. We are tracking the big players using volume profile and order flow. So what you just need is a market that is liquid and that has bid and ask data. Keep in mind that different markets have different volumes and different behavior, but the core of the strategy is the same and the logic applies for all markets. I also got another question asking specifically about Bitcoin. Yeah, you can use this on Bitcoin as well, but you need to use Bitcoin futures, so you have the bid and ask data. Question number 16, can volume profile and order flow be used on Forex? Volume profile very easily, there's no problem about that. With order flow, it's a bit more complicated because there are some limitations because Forex doesn't provide true bid and ask data, but it is possible, especially with my software. I made a special webinar on order flow on Forex. I'll put recording below this video, so just click the link and you can watch how you can trade with order flow on Forex. Now the next part of the questions is about strategy application. Question number 17, can you automate this? I tried several parts of the strategy, but I didn't really get good results. It was just difficult for me to properly define all the rules, like the market context. Also, how do you, for example, define a heavy volume zone that the volume profile shows? And there are many things that are very, very hard to define, and then putting it together would make a mess of it. So maybe you can code it somehow, but I'm pretty sure it wouldn't work as it should. So I don't think it's possible to automate this approach. It's not simple EMA crossover, right? Here is another question, number 18. Can volume profile and order flow determine the trend? You know, volume profile and order flow are typically not indicators that you want to use for identify or determine a trend. The volume profile can help you partly if you guys follow the P-shaped profiles that show buyers and B-shaped profiles that show sellers, then yeah, that can help. By the way, if you want to watch a video about this, about the shapes of the volume profiles and what they do and what they show, there's a separate video and I'll put a link below this video. What I do to determine a trend is I use price action and view up. Volume profile and order flow, they are better to read the context of the market, judge the strength of buyers versus sellers, and identify support and resistance zones. This is where the strength of volume profile and order flow lies. For identifying the trend, it's better to use price action and view up, in my opinion. Question number 19. How do you combine smart money concepts with volume profile? I use just a couple of things from the smart money concepts in my approach. I use the fair value gaps, inverted fair value gaps, also a couple of concepts about the liquidity, but that's all I need. I don't recombine more of the aspects from the smart money concepts. Question number 20. Which trading session is best for this strategy? I would say that all sessions are fine. I personally trade the European and the US session and also the Euro and US overlap. The reason I'm not trading the Asian session like this is because I'm asleep during the Asian sessions. The way I trade the Asian session is I simply set limit orders and I trade blindly without order flow confirmation. Just wait for the price to hit the level, enter with the limit order. I had a set take profit and stop, and that's it. Either win or lose. All right, next question is about stop loss and take profit. And this is a big topic which I didn't have time to cover during the webinar. And I also don't want to cover it here because it's a big topic and it doesn't really belong here. But what I'll do is I'll at least give you two main rules that I follow. And the rules go like this. Take profit needs to go before price reaches heavy volume barrier, because the heavy volume barrier could turn the price, right? So you want to quit your trade before it reaches a barrier, and the stop needs to go behind heavy volume barrier because the heavy volume barrier is protecting that trade. Let me show you real quick on an example. So if I were to go short from this heavy volume zone, short from there like this, then I would place my stop behind the heavy volume zone, this being the heavy volume zone. So the stop would be behind the heavy volume zone, behind the barrier. And then the take profit needs to be at least risk reward 1, but it needs to be before a barrier. At this point, I don't really know where the barrier is because the price hasn't reached this level yet. So I can't really tell where the heavy volume barrier will be. So I need to see how the price approaches this resistance level. And if, for example, in here we have a heavy volume zone, then I'll place the take profit before that heavy volume zone, right? Before the barrier. You can do it either with volume profile, also with order flow. The logic is the same. If you guys want to learn this more in detail, it's part of my order flow course, which you can get on my website. All right, if you go to traderdale.com, if you click trading course and tools in here, it'll bring you to this page. In here, there is the order flow pack. It includes my strategy from A to Z, including the stop loss and take profit placement, including the software, including everything that you're going to need. Now, the next section of the questions is about strategy performance. Question number 22, how many trades do you take per day? On average, it's 2 or 3. Obviously, there are days where I have 0 trades, and then there are days which are more busy, but average is around 2 to 3. I'm usually around the computer the whole week from Monday to Friday with some pauses, you know, but almost every day I'm around the computer. So yeah, this is the average. Question number 23, what is the win rate? My win rate is 66% in the long run for the last couple of years. And that's just the volume profile levels without order flow confirmation. Funny thing is that this win rate also applies to my swing trading, not just for the intraday trading, but swing trading as well. What is the average risk reward ratio? Average is 1.3. Where I aim though is 1.5 to 2. That's like the sweet spot where I aim for. But sometimes I just have to take trades with risk reward 1, and that brings the average down. So that's why it's 1.3. But this is where I aim. One rule that I follow is that the risk reward ratio needs to be at least 1, or ideally bigger. The next set of questions is about my products, my courses, and support. Question number 25. Are the physical books for US residents only? Yeah, that's true. I can only ship those books for free in the US. So if you guys are from the US, click the link below. I'll send you the book, not just the volume profile, but the order flow book or the VWAP book, whichever book you guys choose. I'll send it over, even cover the shipping, everything for free. You just need to be from the US. If you guys are not from the US, then go to my website and I'll send you a free ebook. Just go to traderdale.com and scroll down a bit the homepage. You can get the order flow book in here, volume profile book in here, VWAP book in here. That's the ebooks. Question number 26. Can your trading sessions or mentorship be done during the Asian session? Unfortunately, no. We are from the Europe and the US, so we are active during those sessions, but we record everything, we record all the sessions, so you can replay them later. Everything's available in our members area. Now, question number 27. Is there a deal on Funded Trader Academy? Funded Trader Academy is a different product, which I haven't talked about in this webinar. If you go to my website and go to FTA, then this is the Funded Trader Academy. This is where we teach traders how to become funded traders and how to stay funded. The discount that I offer during the webinar does not apply to the Funded Trader Academy, but if you schedule a call here, then I'm pretty sure that we can work something out and give you a discount on the Funded Trader Academy as well. Question number 28. Do you have someone in support who speaks French? Unfortunately, no, we speak mainly English, but the communication we use is rather simple, and you can also use some translation tools, so I think that you'll manage. Also, to help you set everything up, you don't really need to speak English, we do everything for you, so I think nowadays it's way simpler to communicate in other languages. But if you get the course, if you get any of the packs that I offer, and if you are not satisfied or find out that you can't follow what we have there, then just ask for a refund within 14 days and we'll process the refund, no question asked, so you don't need to worry. Next question. Question number 29. Do you need to buy a volume profile to use order flow? The question is about the products on my website here. So to use the volume profile, my custom-made volume profile, you only need to purchase the order flow pack because it includes the order flow software as well as my custom-made volume profile indicators, so you can use them exactly as I showed you in the webinar. So you only need the order flow pack if you want to use order flow and volume profile. But what I would recommend is scrolling down this page a bit, where there's the combo pack, where you can get all the 4 packs together for $6.97 until the end of the month. Now, question number 30, and it's about the combo pack. What is the duration of the online training? The courses that we provide in our packs, they're online, they are self-paced, so you can study them at your own pace. The combo pack is around 40 hours of video material. You can actually check it out in here on this page. And if you click, for example, here, the volume profile course, it shows some details and also the length of the videos. The same goes for the order flow pack, VWAP pack, smart money pack, right? Everything together is over 40 hours. Now the last question, question number 31. Do you get daily trading levels with the order flow package or only with a volume profile? Now the question is about the products we have here. Let me go back to that page again. And the thing is that I provide my day trading levels and swing trading levels. Those are the levels that I'm going to trade that day for our members, but only for the members of the volume profile pack. So it's available only in this pack, not in the order flow pack. But as I said, what I recommend is getting the combo pack at the bottom of the page here. And this one includes all the packs. So also it includes the daily and swing trading levels. Alright guys, so that's about it. Thanks again for all the great questions you guys had. Don't forget to order the physical copy of the book as a free gift for attending the webinar. Also, don't forget that we are running a special sale until the end of the month. So thanks for watching and see you around.